G'day folks, I just want to make a very quick, as quickly as I can, short video on stack moulding. Turn this to the side. It's a very busy neighbourhood, lots of cars, noise, birds. So this is stack moulding. You call it stack moulding because this is made out of 3 layers of timber, and then you stack them on top, and it looks like it's come from one bit of timber. So to create mouldings, you're going to need some hollows and rounds, and these are the hollows and rounds. This is called a round, and it's a number 7, and I made this like I did with all my moulding planes, including the iron. And this is a hollow. On top of that, you're going to need a block plane, you're going to need chisels, you're going to need scrapers, you're going to need a carving gouge, you're going to need rebate planes, or you can get away with just using one, and you're going to need files. Now, the reason why you're going to need files is to refine the end grain. So mouldings can be done in 2 different ways. You can do it this way that I'm doing it, by just shaping the end grain, or you can get one long bit of strip of wood and then mould the entire wood, cut them up into 45s, and then attach it to the end of the timber. That's the cleanest way of doing it. I chose to do it this way, which is harder, because I wanted to save on wood. So, what you would have to do, and now this is going to apply even if it's a one big block, one long strip, you would need to have a carving gouge, and you would take out majority of the waste until you come close to the line and to the general shape. Then you would use a round. Now, from what I've understood when I was making these moulding planes, depending on where you live, so in England they call this a hollow, and that's because it creates a hollow. And they would call a hollow a round because it creates a round. Now in America they call this a hollow and call that a round because they're basing it off the plane itself. Which one is actually, did they really call it that? I don't know. Maybe some English people could enlighten us on this. So you would remove the bulk of the waste with a carving gouge. And the reason for that is when you're doing end grain, right, you first of all, you need to remove a very minuscule amount. Because if you just go in there and you just attack it, with using brute force, and you become greedy and you just take big chunks, you're going to rip this out, right? This is just going to break off, and the chances are you're going to destroy this bit of wood, and you're going to have to start over with a whole new bit of wood. So what I always do, because I know there's always going to be some amount of breakout, I allow the wood to be a little wider, right? And then when I finished making the moulding, then I'll I'll cut that wood to width. So so you'd use the gouge to remove bulk of the waste, and then you would refine it with your molding plane with the round. Now, the reason for that is because it's a lot simpler for me to sharpen this, right, than it is to sharpen this. And the reason being for that is because it's harder for me to sharpen this round, as in the blade, right, to sharpen it without without putting it out of shape. So it's got to remain, the shape of the round has got to match the shape of the sole, right? And it's very easy to sharpen that out of whack. It's even more harder to sharpen this, right, this hollow, to match the iron to the sole. It's a lot more harder, right? And even though I made it, and after doing 32 of them, or 36, however many I did, you get into a rhythm and all of that, but it's very time consuming. And the simplest way for people who've actually never sharpened a molding plane is just to flatten the back. Constantly sharpen, just run the back on the back end on the stone, and keep doing that until it's nice and sharp again. Don't even try and attempt to sharpen this. But those who have, we're going to get in there and with a slipstone, and we're just going to work that bevel, and then remove the burr off the back, and then finish off on the strop. So after I use the molding planes, I may need to then use the files, and in my case I had to use the files because I just needed to remove some part that I couldn't do with a molding plane. And then I would further refine it with a scraper, and if it needs even if it needs smoothing out, these files really do a fantastic job in smoothing it out. Then I would finish off with sandpaper. So that's pretty much it. I don't know what else to say. But that's how you make moldings, and this is how you do stack moldings. So I've now got to do the bottom piece, and I'm just going to add a finial on top of here, and then that's it. It's all done. All right, thanks for watching.